Everyone has holiday things they need to do, I'm sure. That's why we have such a big audience here tonight. Nice to see you guys.
Okay.
Ready when you are, Wayne?
All right. Starting off is I'm looking for a member or members to sit on a pension committee. I've talked to the bank, and your structure that you're using now, actually the bank's exceeding it a little bit more than they should anyway, but they're doing it for the city's benefit. It needs to be your allocation between your cash and more liquid assets and your stocks need to be looked at again to make sure it's appropriate with the best way to earn money for the pension. Pension's got to earn about 6%, and that's somewhat aggressive in some of the markets.
Do I have any volunteers?
It'll be an exciting committee.
I'm sure. If I don't have volunteers, that means I have to make appointments. So I will let you guys think about it before the next meeting. Let me know. I'll email Mike and Madeline. Because, I mean, there's more to sitting on council than coming to a meeting every month, every twice a month. So.
And this will be just a committee that's going to meet a couple times just to go over. I think the allocation between assets is probably not good. And I talked to the bank, and they kind of agree, and I actually talked to C.S. McKee, who does some investing, and they agree too. So.
Okay. All right. I'll let everyone stew on that until the next meeting. Same with the parking review committee. We need to look at parking. I mean, technically I'm on all these committees, so I go when I can. I go to the meetings when I can, just like everybody else. So we need a committee to look at parking. So again, I'll ask for volunteers in the next couple of weeks. If you want to volunteer, you can send me an email. If not, then I'll be making appointments.
Yeah, it's one of those things. The way the parking is it appropriate for the businesses? Is it appropriate for the seniors? I don't know that. A committee.
Shouldn't that be like something that you work with the parking authority on?
We'll have one member of the parking authority on there.
Shouldn't their whole committee be involved in that? We're almost like the go-between.
Well, they only have responsibility for the lots. We have the streets. So I think what Wayne's trying to do is make them work together. That's why he wants somebody from each.
Yeah, I think it's always good, even if you have a couple residents that are interested in sitting on a committee too, obviously, or a couple business people that sit on a committee, it'd be helpful to have some input.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to have more residents involved that way.
Okay, next on the hit parade, you'll see I come up with, these are actually, Ann had given us some suggestions on these. We're looking at signs as you come into the city, instead of saying, welcome to Latrobe, Bayard, traffic lines, laws, or whatever. If we have something a little bit, I've been told by a number of business people that we should try to make the city a nicer place. And when they said that at first, I kind of chuckled, but there is a validity in what they're saying. And when you look at some of these signs, like "Welcome to Latrobe, a city of progress, pride, and possibilities," just on the upper right signs as you come into the city, not expensive signs, just something that.
Could we do something like, I like these, all three of these, quite frankly. I think they're nice. But could we do like a contest or something somehow that let residents vote somehow on our website or something?
We can try. That's fine. That's fine.
And see what people like. I mean, the first one says it says welcome to Latrobe, a city of progress, pride, and possibilities. The second one says welcome to the city of Latrobe, a city of character, small city with a big heart. And then the third one says, welcome to the city of Latrobe, building on the past, preparing for the future. Also, I think one of the things I'd like us to do is to try to work a little bit more in conjunction with revitalization design committee, or at least, talk amongst them so that we're all moving in the same direction.
Well, we did, the actual logo of the city of Latrobe was provided by them.
Okay, so,
That's what they're going to use on the signs on the trail, coming in the community and on the walking trail. But yeah, I tried to talk to them a little bit about it, but this time of year it's hard to get
I
anybody to
know.
pay attention.
so I kind of think it'd be kind of neat, and I don't know what you guys think, if we like maybe try to have like a contest, let people vote on which one they like.
Are you saying we would prepare 4 or 5 possibilities and then put them out somewhere and say vote for 1, 2, 3, 4, or are we saying give us your drawing, your rendering? And
No. I think we would provide 3 or 4 or 5 options and let people,
It'd be nice if we could use the word neighborhood somehow.
Yeah,
Since it's already
yeah.
been popularized by Mr. Rogers.
right.
It's a town of friendly neighborhoods.
I think it would be kind of a cool thing to do, an interactive thing to do. I mean, there's no big rush to this, right?
No, and actually, like I said, I just think it's another sign that the city is progressing, moving forward.
I mean, I'm wondering if it's something we might be able to, work in conjunction with the bulletin. I don't see Chris here tonight since it's.
No, he couldn't make it tonight.
And maybe they could do, we could do something.
Like a web page where you
Yeah.
have all 5.
Yeah, and then, tell people, cut out a thing and send it to the city offices and we'll add them up and see which one wins or something like that. I don't know.
Well, I've been asked to do a spot on the little TV sitting behind us, so we can mention it there too.
Are you going to have punctuation?
Yeah, we need punctuation.
This is like an accountant. I mean, come on.
Okay.
All right. We have a smoking ordinance that prohibits smoking in the park. We don't have, I thought we had a smoking.
We passed a resolution about 2-3 years ago that approved the healthy
Young lungs at play.
At play concept. And we encouraged in that resolution people not to smoke in the public parks. But we didn't create an outright ban or any sanction for doing so.
Yeah, and I know that the chief had concerns about that.
Yeah.
Because of, just calling the police and having them. But the suggestion that Ron made was, is to designate an area, as a smoking area in the parks. That was one option. I think, Wayne, I gave you something last meeting.
Yeah, that was, I showed it to Jim, and I think it's remember if it was from Youngstown, I forget where it was from.
Another community.
Yeah, I showed it to Jim, and you thought it was the same thing we had passed before.
Pretty much so, yeah.
It was young lungs to play.
Yeah.
Stop.
I believe when I was on the council, I thought we designated that there was so many feet from where the playland area was.
That's
There
kind
was
of
to
what
be
you
no smoking.
We could have.
Yeah.
But the point is,
Almost.
what we did was a resolution that really, I guess, encouraged people to follow that. But we never passed by ordinance or resolution any fines or penalties that if someone is caught smoking in a prohibited area. So it was basically an encouragement for people to protect the young lungs.
Well, one of the, I just think we need to just somehow label, do some signage that says that it's prohibited. And, the question becomes, what's the penalty? And I know that the chief didn't want to be overburdened by phone calls of people saying, so-and-so smoking down here. By the time they get in their car and go down there, they're not smoking anymore. So what do you do?
I think a designated smoking area.
And so that's
Very
why
helpful.
Ron had suggested that if you get, an area that says, designated smoking, then at least, if I'm down there and I'm an adult and I see somebody smoking, I'm going to say, you're not allowed to smoke here. But not everybody's going to do that.
Well, I think,
Huh?
Like, if you say that, you almost cause another issue too, with another parent, grandparent, whatever. I've been down there and I'm adamant about it, even though there's no ordinance or whatever. Obviously you see my 2 kids, I don't want anyone smoking around them, but
Right.
and Ron had said about the littering too. That's why he said the containers, and we have the ordinance for that, but.
Yeah, we do for littering.
I think we need to talk to Boomar about it again, because I think there needs to be a fine, and I think we just, I don't know how many people are actually going to call 911 anyways if they get somebody smoking. smoking, but at least it might be a
I think
deterrent.
truthfully, as a smoker, that a designated smoking area really does draw the smokers over there. You know, I think that's more effective than having it be against the law.
Maybe we ought to try and talk with Okonak and the foundation and that owns the park and rec and see if they would be willing to try that as an option first.
And you can always do both. I mean, you can always have a designated smoking area and have a fine if you're not in that area, whether you enforce it or not. If you post it, and at least will discourage a few
You
people.
almost only have to enforce it once or twice until word gets around it.
And I think truthfully, is if you have that designated area, that does draw them. I mean, because it's a congregation place.
Right.
Okay.
I thought, yeah, Jim and Jim.
Okay.
Okay, there was in your packet, there was a little bit of a fee structure for non-profit and for-profit advertisement on the new sign. Now, we still have a policy that needs to be adopted and that, but I was trying to move forward a little bit with, we've actually had some interest in a for-profit that's willing to pay some money to advertise. And when you start talking about money, you've gotten my ear, you know, so.
Well, no, Mr. Jones and I were talking, and if enough for-profits want to blend in, or let me say, whatever fees will be charged, whether you're profit or non-profit, you know, it may be to our advantage to look at more than one sign as we have outside.
Yeah, I mean, if we can, we don't have many options for revenue streams, and I love the sign myself. I think it's great. I think we do need to control.
What council has is a proposed policy and to look at. Mr. Jones and I, he mainly worked on it, I tweaked it a little bit. And as he indicated, he passed out a separate fee schedule sheet. Would like to put this on the agenda at least for February. It's a 10-day ordinance, meaning I've got to give 10 days notice in the paper because we are setting a fee. So I just asking council to look at this, get your thoughts back, either Mr. Jones or myself, so that we could. And I would like to ask for permission, a motion on January's agenda for me to go ahead and prepare and advertise, not the resolution to adopt the policy, but we have to approve the fee schedule by ordinance. So I had a motion.
Okay, so
February.
I have a question. It says on here the maximum number of messages that can be displayed daily is none.
I'm just curious what that means.
You know,
What does that
was-
mean?
That was, I didn't have the total number, and that was a Shaler's ordinance.
Oh, so it may not be 9?
I suspect we can do more than that, but this was so everybody knows, Shaler has their manager as an attorney, and somebody I've worked with in the past. And a large portion of this policy, that before Jim tweaked it, was from him, because he's an attorney, and I figured if we can get a free advice from an attorney, I take it.
Well,
So that was part of his. They'll take more.
one of the questions that I would have that I think we're going to need to answer if I am if I'm an advertiser, because I know this for something else I'm doing. If I advertise, how often does that, like, is it every 10 minutes it comes up, every 20 minutes it comes up, every 50 minutes it comes up? How does that work?
It'll cycle, right now, I think it's cycling about every 5 minutes. So, and we haven't seen the full parameter of what we can do. I would imagine, I don't think it's going to cycle. You run a gamut, you're trying to cycle it quick enough that people can see it sitting at the red light.
Right.
But yet, you want to try to get everything in, so.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if I'm going to advertise on there in one day, how many times will my sign scroll, will my advertisements scroll through there in an 8-day period?
We figure 11 per hour, 88, and they are period. And the thing is, like I said to one of the people that were interested in doing an advertisement, they want to do it for the entire month, and I suggested just doing it for a week each month for 12 months. Because, when you get a sign, it's like an advertisement, it's like a campaign sign. When you first put that out, people see it, but after a little while, people get looking. So you want to keep refreshing that sign. And we could even go so far as, Jeannie and Park and Rec had suggested having like a restaurant of the week. or a business of the week, something, and you can do multiple things. You just have to make sure that we leave enough space for Park and Rec, for the city, for
Public service announcements.
Exactly. You want to make sure we have enough space for the fire company, for the public works, and for the city now.
Sounds good.
I think in the policy, for those profit or nonprofit agencies or entities that want to use the sign, they have to have a presence either here, Unity Township, Derry Borough, or Youngstown Borough. So we don't want people from Illinois coming in saying, we want to advertise this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it does, in the policy, it does say you can limit it based on, obviously, I don't think you want to advertise for Coors beer or something like that. You're going to stay close to what the government. I mean, there may be churches that want to advertise their Christmas dinner. Okay, you can do that for a month. But I do think you want to have the ability to turn someone down if it's not necessarily what you think you should be advertising.
You don't want political advertisements, you don't want, Okay.
Yeah, certain things, smoking, drinking, that kind of stuff, you don't want to encourage.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Well, the tax millage ordinance,
It's ready, it's been advertised.
okay, and the employee salary ordinance, I gave you an outline of what's a 3% in the budget, 3% increase across the board for those members of management that are up for a salary increase.
It's also been advertised.
And then we have the chapter 256 ordinance,
That's been advertised.
which is your fee structure.
No, that's your vehicles.
Oh, very
Well,
good.
vehicles, yeah.
Yeah, no, the fee structure and the resolution will come up to February.
Now, board and authority appointments, we've had one, and I forgot to ask the name of the gentleman, so please don't ask me. But one person that applied to the LMA.
Well, we're going to continue, the other ones that applied are still eligible.
Right, but
One
we haven't had
additional
anybody
one.
apply for anything other than the LMA right now.
I
Now-
think maybe you mean because he called me, but I can't think of his name either.
And then we have his information, but,
So we'll have the list of the people that applied before, plus whoever applies
Sure.
between the next meeting, and we'll point from there.
And then that's another place for the sign, is to start putting some, an advertisement out there, looking for board,
Yeah.
board openings or something, so hopefully encourage, additional activity.
Okay.
Every year, you join with the county for their hazard mitigation plan that saves the city from having to create one. They'd like to have that on the agenda for the next meeting.
That'll be a resolution.
Okay.
And then Jim has the meeting dates, which I put in your packet, from you.
There are 2 holidays, and I just want to get council's guidance. I'd like to advertise before the end of this year. The first one is in May, that's Memorial Day. That would normally be our agenda meeting. In the years past, we just moved that to Tuesday evening. So that's how I have it set up. The other one, we've kind of gone both ways, and that is, I think it's Columbus Day, it's in October.
October 26th?
No, the actual meeting night. That's
October 13th.
That is a holiday for employees, so if we keep the meeting on that evening, we're forcing them to come on a
Yeah, we'll do
holiday.
it. Would you okay with Tuesday? You guys okay with
That one in the past, we've done both ways, so I set it up, I believe, for Tuesday as well.
As long as Tuesday, May 26th is an election day next year, I'm okay with it. I don't know when it is, but I think it's usually earlier, would be the day after Memorial Day, but it seemed like it was
So
an
those-
odd date.
Those are the only 2 that conflicted with any holidays. And other than that, it's the normal cycle, so I'll go ahead and get that advertised.
I had one item, because before I came here, I got a phone call, and I was over 6th Ward, driving down the street where all the tractor trailers are parked. Apparently, if you all remember, when Lenatures was here, they kind of squatted on our property over there, up against the creek, on the, down from St. Joe's. There is a strip of that actually Podlucky paved, if you remember, and it wasn't his to pave, because it belongs to the city. Part of it is the city's, and then I think part of it might even be flood control. I'm not really sure. I believe you guys are doing some research on that.
Ann's talked to Jim about it. I know there's a survey done.
But the homeowners are very upset. I drove down there. If those trailers are truly on our easements, they shouldn't be there.
Okay,
They're dropped.
whose trailers are they?
The new owners of Lene, the new
Ah,
owners of
okay.
the bottling company. And apparently, so, you know, look, I want to be business friendly. I was hoping that we could contact the owner tomorrow.
I can talk to him. He's a very nice gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we are thrilled that his business is in town, and I'm sure he intends to be a good neighbor to his neighbors. We just need to find a way to.
Well, I think the question is who owns what? Is what it boils down to. Now, my understanding, talking with Andy, the owner believes that he acquired that, and he might have. I don't know. The only way we're
From who?
from the bankruptcy procedure, or from
Well, they
whoever
could-
owned it that sold the complex.
Right, but if that's city property, I don't care if.
Well, no, that's the question. Is it his property? Is it city? Is part of it our right of way and then the back part is his property? The only way to know that is to get those who search the title involved and perhaps our engineers to say, where is the road right of way? But there is a question of.
I gotta tell you, it's pretty tight. I mean, with those trailers there, I mean, I think, it's pretty tight. I think it would be difficult for a snowplow to get down that street.
How are they parking
Just like,
parallel?
they're not,
I'll go.
yeah, I mean, they're kind of horizontal. You know what I mean? They're not like facing in towards the creek, back and sticking out. The whole length of the trailer is the length of the street. So if you turn left onto the Unity, and you go down to the stop sign, and there's that creek there. You know, there's that, I think there's like a gate there, like or a railing. They're just lined up against there. I think there's 4 of them. So I got down
his
and
legal counsel, so I can get.
met with the homeowner that called me, and because today when he came home, they put another one there, and now he couldn't park where he normally parks.
Yeah, it comes down, and like I told him when he called, it's a matter of who owns what.
Yeah.
If it's private property, and then it's a dispute between private individuals, if the city owns the property, then that's a different situation.
Well, I think the problem is, you know, I think what happened is there's parking on the house side of the street, but I think the residents were parking over there, and now the residents have lost their parking across the street. So we need to, before this gets, I mean, see, the problem is, I mean, you weren't here, but when Podlucky owned that, it was a nightmare. I mean, we constantly had issues. Fabian was on council, he would remember. Just, you know, no respect whatsoever for the neighborhood and the residents, and we certainly don't want to get off to a bad start.
Well, I understand he even moved the surveying stakes.
That's what I was told, I don't
And
know.
I was told, obviously, I was told the same.
I don't know, I mean, I never saw the surveillance stakes, but I would have probably known what they were if I saw them, so. Anybody?
Yeah, once we can determine the ownership. But I can talk to him, he's a good, nice gentleman, he moves all this stuff.
I know, and we're thrilled to have him here.
Yeah, he really.
I mean, we really are, and we just gotta find a way to work it out, so that, you know, and maybe once WCCC gets moved, maybe, you know, that land can be acquired and something can happen there.
That's,
Did he buy that building?
Not that I'm aware
I didn't want to say, I think there's an individual looking at the building.
of. Oh,
How's that?
okay,
That was
well,
actually looking at the building across the street, yeah.
the old chamber building,
This is where they get the doctor.
the eye doctor.
Yeah, that's the eye doctor's office, looking at the same piece of property there, so.
So hopefully we can work this out before, I mean, I think the homeowners just remember how bad it was, and I know that's not, you know, and I don't think we want to
Well, I think no matter, I talked to him.
continue that
Just-
bad feeling, start out that way. I think we want to try to nip it in the bud as quickly as we can.
Well, I said, we can determine the ownership, and then from that, also determine the best way to go forward.
Anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Jerry, you had something? A house? You're talking to me about a house over there that I was complaining about.
There's a house pool called for, I had heard before when we had the National Night Out, they were doing the neighborhood watch. He said that about at the house over there where the college kids live and they're partying all the time on that street.
Which street?
What's the name of the street on the creek?
St. Joe's, what the heck's that name? Yes.
No,
Rick-
okay,
no.
it's the next one. It's
Chambers.
Over in the 6th Ward or?
Chambers.
I wrote it down, but I don't know what I did with it.
Well, Linden.
I called up St. Vincent to talk to, I had a card for, I forget his name, Bob Brown or something, and he wasn't in, and the secretary told me that it was, so I left a message for him, but he never got back to me, and I never got back to him, so I'm gonna try and get a hold of him.
I understand from, talking with the chief, that in the past, everybody did about it.
They've been very good.
Yeah, there's a student housing that's a problem, they directly address it.
Well, this,
Sorry.
they say that they call the cops and nothing's ever done about it, so.
I think what they do is they address it with the students directly and give them.
Well, that's what I was under the understanding.
Yeah, you don't want to continue to, we want to continue to school here.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff.
Who knows if they're even students too, though.
Give me the address, I'll talk to Jim.
Okay,
If you would.
I'll email it to you.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything?
I have another question. I remember you guys talking when I was sitting out there about getting, how we send a, like when somebody doesn't cut their grass, we send them a letter, and they have so long to do it. They cut their grass, they let it go again. We send them another letter, and they cut the grass. You guys had talked about, I think it was Indiana, where they send them a letter, and the next time they have to send them a letter, they get a fine for it.
I kind of remember what you're saying, Terry.
We need to do something so
Yeah,
that
'cause
the repeat offenders don't get to continue to be repeat offenders.
Yeah.
That they don't just push the envelope all the time.
I'm not sure if the way the new ordinance, the new code is written.
I thought it was-
Doesn't that reduce that?
I thought it was like 1, 2, 3 kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's what.
That after the third time, but over what time period? We'll have to look at the existing ordinance.
The
Yeah,
property
right.
maintenance code, yeah.
The new one is that.
Yeah, but
That's
what's
why
the
they have to
time
play
frame?
that game.
Three of anything,
In what period of time?
any period of time, I believe. Anytime they have that property.
I don't think you can do that now. It couldn't be forever.
I think it's 3 times within a year or something of that nature. Might be. I know what you're talking about, I'd have to look at it.
I think that's not speed that up.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I know it was 3 times, but I don't know if it was 3 times over a year period or 3 times.
I'll look. I think it's a little different situation in the property maintenance code than what we previously had.
Well, and that's the other thing too. I'm thinking it's more like building code specific, not necessarily cutting your grass and stuff, right? Or no? Could be anything. Okay. I'll have to look at it
The other
again.
issue, the other elephant in the room is, you have to have, I'm not saying you don't, but you have to have a magistrate that will enforce that too.
That's how it was. The magistrate, when you complain, he has to, for the strong one, he has to.
Well, I mean,
And I'm not saying he doesn't.
Yeah, and
I'm
I'm
just
just-
saying that.
yeah,
you have
stop.
to have a strong magistrate.
For, as far as grass cutting goes, you get a verbal warning, get a verbal warning, then a written warning, and if it's not completed within that time frame, then it can be issued a fine. They can do that according to the code in the blue book. Like say me, I could take a letter from you once a month, but as long as I cut it within that time frame.
yeah, but we passed a new ordinance that's not in the blue book yet. We passed a new ordinance stuff that's not in the blue book yet, and I
Okay.
think we tightened that up.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's just how the old one was.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that's
I
if
believe
that's the
that's-
one in the blue book, that's the one we were trying to get to
All right.
approve, to give Ann some more teeth.
So many people have used it and just continue
Right.
to cut it, and then we continue on, that they've toughened that up a little bit. But we'll find out, like I said, as far as that, we can find out what the requirements are now.
Okay. Anybody?
I
Anything
got
else?
another way of raising revenue in town if we would start enforcing stop signs.
Well, if there's a stop
Serious.
sign, If there's a stop sign, then a particular stop sign, let me know.
No, it's every stop sign. We go down First
I think we were
Avenue.
told that you don't want to be known as a stop sign.
What's that?
You don't
Yeah,
want
I
to be
do.
known
I
as a
want to be
stop
known
sign.
as the city
Trap
you
for
don't
stop
speed
sign.
in.
Why not? That's
No,
what
no,
they're
you're not
there.
going to argue me here. We had an officer step back here and said that.
Oh.
I want to be known as the city that you don't speed in, the city that you don't do drugs in, and the city that you obey
Right.
traffic signs in.
Come
And
out
codes.
my driveway and try pulling out when these people were
Yeah.
jumping around there.
All right, anything else? Everyone,
Yeah,
Merry
I want to
Christmas.
say Merry Christmas,
and a
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Have a Merry Christmas.
Merry, Merry Christmas. See you all next year.
Amen.
Merry Christmas.
Colin, feel bad.